Oh, and my name is Mike Dwyer, and I'm Japanese teacher here. So let me know if you need anything. And Lydia, can you go for us? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I did my project on help, like when it's supposed it the purpose is supposed to help those people who want to help their friends and family when they're having a breakdown or something, but they don't really know quite how to. Like they get awkward or uncomfortable. They don't really know what to say. Like this is helping those people. So the in the middle, there's like a index cards with like some tips on them and things you could say and things like that, going into detail to help them out. And these two sides have like some song lyric quotes, like off the theme song off of, was it Friends, I think. So no one told me life was gonna be this way, I think that's what it was. And then you got a friend in me over here. And then I got some quotes on the sides. One up there with the Charlie Brown says, sometimes we need someone to simply be there, not to fix anything or to do anything in particular, just to let us feel that we are cared for and supported. And the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. So it's basically showing people that it's okay not to be okay. Like that's okay. There's gonna be times like that, but you kind of need both of them in your life. So it's not always gonna be all good. And the bottom one, like, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself in your own way of thinking. And over here, you have there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will, and don't let the sadness from the past and the fear of the future ruin the happiness of the present. So, just some quotes and stuff to like help guide people when they want to be there and support a loved one. And the comic strip in the middle is just like a little funny, sarcastic saying, like when they're like, "Oh, what can I do?" when she's crying, and then the man is just like, "Well, you can stop crying," or something like that. But yeah, that was my project.
Oh,
I
Nice
like
job.
I like
that
that
was a
your
good.
project uh, is reaching out to help other people. It's not just about yourself, but something bigger to make a positive difference. And especially in this time of coronavirus, when so many people are struggling, socially or emotionally, I think that's very timely and thoughtful and helpful. So good work, Lydia.
I feel like people tend to focus on uh they always like focus on trying to help those specific people going through the hard times,
Yeah.
and they tend to forget about like the people who want to be there for them but don't know how. And
Yeah.
yeah.
You may want to ask the counseling department if they would want to borrow your poster for a while. You might be able to set it down there, and people who are having a rough time passing by, that spot might stop to read a thought or two and benefit from it. So
I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea. Yeah.
I'm sure you could get it back when they're done. Yeah, just ask them and maybe bring it by. I bet that would be a positive impact.
Yes.
Yeah, Lydia, that's very impressive, and you are upbeat. Showing it and sharing what you did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. And let's see. Next, we've got Matthias, right? Are you ready to go, Matthias?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay. So my project was learning photography, and I knew a little bit about photography before, but I didn't really know much. And my dad does a lot of photography, so I decided that's what I wanted to learn. So this is the camera that I used. I have quite a few different lenses, but it's a Fujifilm, and it's a like a point and shoot camera that like it's electronic, so then I could take it onto the computer really easily. So I'm just going to share my screen and then talk about some of the pictures I took. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yes.
All right. So this is on the right. This is my friend Sam. This was one of the very first pictures I was taking. It was fun because I set up like a studio, like a backdrop, and it had like fancy lights and stuff. Um, some of these were in Missouri. I was on a train on these two. It was just a stationary train, like a mini museum. This one was a very close-up macro lens. So one of my objectives was to take different types of pictures. As you can see, I have like landscape and architecture and portrait and macro pictures. This one I took really recently, like a couple of weeks ago. I really like this one. I was doing a lot of black and white photography a couple of weeks ago, so that's why a lot of these ones are in black and white. And I'm also taking beginning photography this semester, so it was helpful to have more instruction on how to do different techniques like line and shape and texture and how to like um, look at things differently and learn how to like look at the world differently and take different kinds of pictures. So yeah, that's all 20 that I decided to put on there. But if there's anyone you want to look at more, you can tell me to scroll back.
From looking at several of your pictures, I'm pretty sure that you have learned about the rule of thirds. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
You wanna-
Especially like
What's
some
the
of
rule of thirds?
So the rule of thirds is like in photography, I'll take this one as an example. It's kind of off, or this is probably a better example. So this one's really obvious because there's 3 boxes,
Hmm.
but I can make this bigger. You want to like try and take a picture where it's split into thirds so it's more interesting to look at, because when everything's centered in the middle of the picture, everything looks stagnant and it doesn't have very much movement, or this one doesn't have a lot of movement either, but it's a little bit more interesting to look at when it's off to the side and it has more like negative space than if it was just flat straight onto it. um like this one, and more, even though this is in the center, you're also focusing over here. And I don't know what I don't. This is a good example because your eyes go straight to the clock, but it's not like right in the middle, and it's off to the side if you were to split this picture into thirds.
Yeah.
So
And the street level is also about a third down, and the building's 2/3 up as well. So, or above
Yeah.
the red, at least.
is there any more questions?
Do you feel that you learning more about photography and how to see the world different will help you in the future in any other areas, maybe in using photography in some aspect of your life?
I feel like just being more open-minded to, I don't know, it sounds cheesy, but like how beautiful the world is and just looking at the world differently, you just appreciate like more stuff out in the world, especially since we're in our houses so much. It's just more interesting to like go outside and then you start to see things differently. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Matthias.
Hey, Matthias, I have a question for you very quickly.
Yeah.
So, what has changed about the way you perceive or you see photography between the time you started your project and now?
Well, at the very beginning, I took a lot of pictures that were like what I was saying. It was kind of straight on, everything was centered. So it was mostly I see the world differently through technique. Like I look at something and I wonder, even if I don't have my camera, I wonder how could I make this a good picture, and like what settings could I use, what lens could I use, what kind of lighting would I need, like what angle would I use to get a good picture out of this. So it's more centered around taking pictures than it is like philosophically seeing the world.
Excellent. Wow, that's a great answer. Thank you very much. Well done.
I think that's the last of my students who are here. I'm just checking nobody else is here from my group. I think that's it.
Dan, you want to introduce yourself and say something maybe about your students?